I am here, Destiny Wrestling post-match, and I am with an amazing person
Hell yeah.
and a pretty big badass, if I say so myself.
This is kind of cool. It's a little teeny tiny.
That's a little guy there.
Little guy. I love it.
Somebody, usually people say size matter, but this one does the job.
Hey, you know what? That's a lie.
Right?
It's not the size of the boat. It's the motion in the ocean, baby. That's
100%. And it's
all the time.
It's because this is good with the mouth. That's all that matters, right?
Fantastic. It works.
I can't think of a better introduction.
Check
that.
1, 2.
I am here with the amazing Maria. Maria, Netflix superstar.
My baby's a superstar.
I mean, you're right there with her.
I'm just here.
You're right there with her. Let's talk about the show.
Okay.
When you first heard about this show, did you have any idea that it would blow up and be as successful as what it
Hell
is?
no. The Netflix show?
The Netflix show.
Hell no. You know how wrestling is. Like, they always tell you, hey, big things is coming, big things is coming, big things is coming. And then you do a little thing and then, whoop. You know what that was? That was the rug.
Right on there.
You know what I mean? It's my fancy boots. Sorry.
I
Squirrel.
love it.
But yeah, no, I had no idea. No idea.
Now, you're old school, right? You've been
100%.
And was that tough for you guys and Al as well? Maybe because I know he's old school to open up the dressing room to
Man,
that kind
I didn't
of
like
access.
it. Ooh, I didn't like it. There and there, and we're trying to put makeup on, talk about things, and they're like, right here. Pretend we're not here. I'm like, you're right here.
So, are there any moments though, like maybe any awkward moments where you guys had to be like, guys, like, come on, like, what? Any specific stories you can think about?
Nah, we were pretty open and honest about everything. There may have been a couple. I'm gonna need you to shut this off. We gotta have a conversation moments, just because it's my kid. We argue more than anybody. You know what I mean? It's my kid, so.
Something that really came across in the show. You're kind of like the mom of the locker room. It kind of looked like you knew when to be there for support. You knew when to lay an ass whooping down when it needed to be. Is that something that you take pride in and coaching the next generation that's coming up?
I do. All I want is for the girls and the guys, of course, to succeed. But they also need. I'm a hard ass. You know what I mean? So I'm going to be hard on them. But I want them to know if shit gets real, they can come to me, and they know they can come to me. The deal with Jake, he got arrested, and I went and picked him up from jail and was like, all right, bud. He's like, am I fired? I'm like, yeah, it's a tough situation. You're fired, and then I'd sit there and let him have his moment in my car because that's what we do.
I think it's so important to have that attitude in life in general.
Yeah,
absolutely. Firm but fair.
Yeah.
We can't all just walk around and do whatever we want. There's got to be repercussions, but there's got to be love behind those repercussions.
And I tell everybody, you know what? You can do anything you want to do. Everything comes with a consequence. So you can do whatever you want to do as long as you're willing to pay the consequence, good or bad, for what you do.
Let's talk about Al Snow a little bit.
Whoa.
And everything.
Alfred. I call him Alfred. It's great. He gets real mad.
I won't tell Alfred that you guys had a longer merch line than him tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I won't tell him that.
Don't tell him. Albert, if you're watching, your line was way bigger. Swear.
How much fun has it been for you to learn from Al and to step into that role? As kind of one of the locker room leaders in there under him.
It's so fantastic. Like literally, I've been at OVW since 2014, I think. So I was at OVW pre-Al Snow. So Nightmare Danny Davis, you know what I mean? Like he's the man. And then when Al bought it and everything, I was still wrestling, and then I kind of went away for a little bit. Pandemic happened. Everybody went away. And then they decided that they were going to come across the bridge into Indiana to where we were wrestling at our arena. And one of the other partners talked to me, and he was like, so you want to come back as more of a backstage hand? And he's like, you get to learn from Al. You get to handle the women. And I'm like, fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Let me do that. So since 2020, I have been under Al's learning tree, and it's been fantastic. Like, fantastic. He has such a great mind. His mind for professional wrestling is amazing. No pun intended.
Let's talk about the success of the show. How have things been different in your life since this show has aired?
My life, not much.
No? I feel like you're getting open up to a whole new, audience. You know what I mean?
Well, we'll go somewhere, and Haley's a superstar. Everybody's like, oh, my God, it's Hollyhood Haley J. And I'm like, yeah, Mom.
See, I had a pretty opposite effect. I love your daughter. She's fantastic. And she's going to be a superstar. She already is a superstar, but she's going to go to that next
level. They made a door.
She got a door on her.
I didn't get a door.
I didn't know
I did not get a door.
I didn't know you were going to be here today.
It was a surprise.
When I saw you, I was like, holy shit, I got to get an interview. I got to get an interview with you.
It was a surprise. You watched the show, right?
100%.
Didn't think I was going to make it across the border.
Well, I'm glad you got here. Like,
But I
I'm
made
so
it.
pumped out. You guys killed it tonight. It was fantastic. Let's talk about Haley.
Okay,
We have to.
we got to.
You guys had one of the most heartfelt stories, not even in a wrestling ring, but just in general, very open you guys were about your history and how you guys have come together, the death match. What was that experience like for you? Like, was that kind of like healing between you guys a little bit? Or?
A little bit, yeah. And like so Haley's whole life, I've been 100% like honest with her about everything. Like, when she left at 16, 17, she chose to do that. It was her choice. I didn't tell her she had to leave home. You know what I mean? So, again, every choice comes with a consequence. The choices you make have repercussions. And I was always that mom that, like, you do what you think you got to do. I'm going to do what I need to do. And if you need to come home, all you have to do is say, Mom, I need to come home. You know what I mean? But she is, and I tell people this, and they're like, no way. And I'm like, yeah, 100% carbon copy of her mother. I left home at 16, thought I was grown, didn't, my daddy couldn't tell me nothing. You know what I mean? So I get it. And when she chose that path, I let her take it. I let her take her own path. That's her path to take. So there was some things that like she has resentment for, and like I said in the interview, those are things that she's got to work out. Like, I can only apologize for my part. It's up to her whether to forgive me or forgive herself or anything like that. And I always knew she was going to wrestle. Come on. I love my dad to death. I left my dad when I was 16. My dad took care of me and my brother, and I'm like, So I didn't grow up until I was probably 26, 27. Like, I literally, I had my son at almost 19. I had her at almost 21. So I was, first of all, I was still a child, baby having babies, right? And then I left home at 16, had babies at almost 19 and 21. Whole down place in Kentucky, no jobs, no nothing. Like, started selling drugs. I'm like, I have to take care of my kids, man. You know what I mean? So then when I went to jail, she was like 2 when I went to jail. And then I went back to jail for 2 months when she was 7. And she was in a bad situation then, But when I found out about it, even from jail, I removed her from that situation and put her in a different place. Just the lady was just really mean to her.
Yeah.
Like, she loved my son, but every time I would call and try to talk to Haley, she would be like, tell her Haley's asleep. And I wouldn't even get to talk to Haley,
That's
like,
gotta be so hard.
Yeah. And it was just, she had boys, and she was supposed to be my friend. You know what I mean? We were football moms together. And I just literally thought that, like, Haley was asleep or this and that. And then finally, like, when I would call and Haley snuck away and grabbed the phone, she's like, Mom, she's being mean to me. So I removed them from that situation. You know what I mean? But she, she had some resentments, and I fully understand those. We've talked about them. Like I said, I can only apologize for my part in it. And then how she goes from that point on is on her. And the whole culmination of her coming back into wrestling, when she got robbed, like they showed it on the series, she called me and she was like, Mom, my house just got ran up in. I was like, it's time to get the fuck out. Like, it's time to move, like, come home. She's like, well, I don't want to live with you. I'm like, that's fine. We'll get you an apartment, same complex, you know what I'm saying? So I went to the office, got her an apartment, same complex. She moved to Indiana, started training, and off to the races she's been. So, and then the whole culmination of the match itself, I was like, listen, if we tell a good story, people will be crying in the arena.
It's true.
And people were crying.
100%.
Like, if you watch, they were like just looking in tears, and it was amazing. It's fantastic.
You could feel how real it was.
Yeah.
Like it had that layer to it that you can't quite describe.
Yeah.
But it made magical TV to watch. What's it like being a death match with your daughter?
That wasn't a death match.
Wow. You guys sat on the, like, I know it wasn't an actual death match, but you guys beat the hell out of each other.
We did. We would say that's a nice hardcore match. Hardcore because, it was hard hitting. I let her hit me with things, because here's the thing. The only real death match, and this is a little inside scoop for everybody, that Haley's going to do is going to be my very last match. Wow. So when we have a true death match, that's it for me. And then she will continue on to be great. you know, unless you get signed before then, because.
I mean, that could happen at any moment. She is amazing. She's setting the world on fire.
Yeah.
Proud mom vibes coming watching her do what she's doing.
Oh, 100%. I've always been the proud mom. Like, she's like, Mom, do you got to come to every practice, every football game? I'm like, yes, I do. You know, so I've always been a proud mom. So if I'm on the sidelines just watching her, I'm happy. Fantastic.
We saw you in there tonight tagging with her. We saw you guys tag together with the WOW promotion. How much fun are you having in there?
Oh, my God. It's so great. Like, we are the first ever mother-daughter to be signed to an actual contract company, okay, on TV.
Mm-hmm.
So, because, like, there's Soraya and Paige,
Yeah.
but they were never signed and wrestled together.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So, Paige was signed, but Soraya, you know, was over here. So, we're, like, literally the first ever mother-daughter to ever be signed to a contracted company.
You just mentioned a couple names there, Soraya and Soraya, you know, Tony Khan. Let's see a little tag match going
I know,
here,
that's
right?
what we said. We want it so bad.
Right?
Tony Khan.
Wembley
please.
Stadium next year, right?
Yeah.
Wembley Stadium.
Oh, my God, it would be great. I'll take the pin, brother. Like.
Okay, the last question I got to ask. You've been amazing with your time. This has been so much fun.
Thank you.
When you look back at everything,
Yes.
whether, you know, from this point to everything you've done in your career, what's something for you that just makes you smile?
Watching my kid.
Love
Like
it.
100%. Like, I can look back at all the things I've done, everywhere I've been, and like the best thing ever is watching her do what she does because she's so fucking good.
I think that's the perfect way to end that. Haley
Yeah.
J is so fucking good.
Haley J is so fucking good.
And the amazing Maria is so fucking cool. On
Thank you.
behalf of the amazing Maria, I am Tyler, and you have been counted out.